You're listening to the Geekly Chronicles, Series 4, Episode 3.
Thanks for listening back to the Geekly Chronicles.
This show was recorded on the 6th of May 2016.
This version of the show isn't quite the same as the one that went out live, as we've had to edit out all of the songs.
It's nothing personal. We're just big fans of making sure artists get paid for the great things they create.
If you want to listen back to the show in its full musical glory, head over to our Mixcloud channel, where you'll find every episode of the Geekly Chronicles as it was meant to be heard.
Ooh.
That's mixcloud.com/GKLYCO.
Thanks again for listening.
Hello!
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 Hello.
Hi! Wow, we're in a new studio.
We are.
How exciting!
It is. Very exciting.
It's foamy.
It
is foamy.
That's called soundproofing, Catherine.
Yes. And we are
stuff.
in a new studio in the week that Google's AI has read enough romance novels to write one of its own.
Wow. In a week where a man built a tiny Jurassic Park for his tortoise.
That's adorable.
Aw.
And KFC has taken its motto of finger looking good to the extreme by debuting edible nail polishes in Hong Kong.
Wow. Also, in a week where entrepreneurs are selling Australia's fresh air in a can to China.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Air in a can.
From Australia.
Yes.
And
Australian
an
air.
irate beaver took a man hostage in a Latvian town. You did not hear that wrong. A beaver took a man hostage, not the other way around.
We're so in
Hashtag
disbelief we can't even say it right.
Yes.
And also, you can get pizza in a pizza box made out of pizza.
What?
Oh my God.
Can we get that delivered here to the studio?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I need
Yes.
that in my life.
I know.
pizza in a box made of pizza.
But in all those weeks, this
all those
is
weeks.
the Geekly Chronicles. Hello.
Episode 3.
Episode 3 of Series 4.
Yes.
And we're joined this week, quite excitingly, by an audience of people here in the studio. Make some noise, audience.
Make some more enthusiastic
Yes,
noise.
Make
audience.
noise that doesn't make it sound like you're the zombies in a zombie apocalypse. Go.
That was very nearly better.
Almost. Let's try that one more time. Okay. On the count of 3.
Sound happy about
Sound
it.
happy, enthusiastic.
Sound like we're not just forcing you to wait for
Yeah.
us.
1, 2, 3. Well, that was
That was even worse.
mistake.
That was worse. But,
Yeah.
you know, we'll
We have these
stop
people
trying.
here under suffering.
Yes. These people are suffering. But
Oh, dear.
but one of these people is going to make us a crumble to eat later in the show, which is
Yes.
going to be quite amazing. So we
Awfully
do have
exciting.
quite a lot of very cool and exciting stuff coming up for you this evening on the show.
We do.
We, of course, have our Would You Fund It, as we've been doing for the past few weeks. This
Mm-hmm.
time, Chris is going to see if he can win. I'm currently in the lead. Catherine's did not get funded last week.
Nope.
It's a
Sad
nice
times.
idea, though.
Yeah.
Had to work on my Alan Rickman impression for that one. Lots of stuff going on in the world of politics that we can make fun
There
of.
is.
Some fantastic things going on in the news. Of course, we've got the Tumble Fumble. We have a forecast. We've got Game of Geeks, all the usual stuff. We have an amazing guest on tonight as well. Catherine, tell us more about that one.
Our guest tonight is Lee Sullivan. He is an artist. He does lots of things with comic books, but also things like storyboarding, general artwork. Bit of a dude, really.
Bit of a dude.
Bit of a dude.
Bit of a dude that does things with comic books.
Indeed.
I like
Excellent.
that.
Well,
Yeah.
that is
Very cool.
appropriate
All sorts of
because
things like Thunderbirds, RoboCop, Transformers,
Yeah.
Doctor Who.
and today is Free Comic Book Day, I
Tomorrow.
believe. Or
Tomorrow is Free Comic
Tomorrow
Book
is
Day.
Free Comic Book Day.
Great
I
job
didn't
of
have
looking
it
at
written
those
down.
notes there. Good
I
work.
didn't have it written down in front of me, but yeah. So we're getting a bit comic-y during the middle of tonight's show.
We
It's
are,
exciting.
yeah, not to confuse us with actual comics because none of us are that funny.
No.
Uh-huh.
But we do have people here that might give us a sympathy laugh
Or not.
or make some noise in general. There we go. Wow, we've
That'll do.
We have a small collection of zombies behind a chain link fence in
Yes.
the studio.
yes, make zombie noises.
That sounded far more lifelike.
That
What
was
is
more
wrong with you
Oh,
enthusiastic.
people?
no.
Yes, because most zombies I've met go, yay, brains, woo.
Apparently so.
Yeah. So lovely. You can also get... Sorry, I'm now just thinking about zombie apocalypse again. Let's not go down this road. We've been there too many times before. How can people request songs, Chris?
People can request songs by joining us in our lovely chat room. It is under the player on the website or the GKLY channel on Freenode. And if you type ! and then request, then a space, and then whatever you want, then we will try and play it for you. You can also tweet us at GKLYCO, and we will put that song on our list.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to do any of those things, find any way you can to tell us that you would like a song.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, like, you know, get a ladder and climb up to the studio window, yell it at us, then that would work as well.
Yeah, I mean, what are all of these people here if not for lovely requests or baking us things? Or just because they wanted to come.
Now
visit.
You're under pressure.
Yeah, there we go. So we'll get some lovely requests from these people. The chat room is already thriving, and by thriving, I mean there are lots of messages saying people have entered it. And only a couple saying people have left, so that's a good thing.
Yes.
But people saying good evening to each other, it's very British in here right now. So let's just drag that down into the gutter a bit more and have a nice active chat room this evening. Don't look at me like that.
This is what happens when you run out of things to say, isn't it?
You are listening to the Geekly Chronicles.
Well, I do love that song.
Was he talking about Zygons?
No,
that's what I heard.
Saigon.
Okay.
That makes
It's about the Vietnam War.
I obviously had my Doctor Who.
Not about
head-ons.
Zygons. Yeah. And so our guest later's done some comic book work for Doctor Who, right?
Yeah.
That's
right.
amazing. Actually has some work out there in the official Whoniverse.
Indeed.
Ooh.
It makes me sound like a bit of a nerd.
Little bit, but you know.
Whoniverse.
Bit of a nerd.
I work
Like-
on a radio show called the Geekly Chronicles.
I think our nerd credentials are safe.
Yeah,
I think so. So would you fund it?
Well,
I don't know yet.
tell
What's
us
it about?
tell us what it is first.
So yesterday it was Super Thursday in the UK. There were loads of elections all over everywhere.
Can I just stop you there?
Uh-huh.
Super Thursday.
Yes.
Do we have to call it that?
Yeah, I mean, that's such an American way to
Yeah.
say it. No offense, of course, to American listeners, but it's like just adding the word super before something doesn't make it super.
No, this is very true. But
it was just a Thursday where lots of people
it was just
got
a Thursday where
to
lots of
vote
people
on
got to
stuff.
vote, but they nicked the whole US Super Tuesday thing. But yesterday there were lots of elections.
Yes, I heard
Super
that.
or otherwise. And the one that the other one that I was focused on, and the one that many were, is the London mayoral election, which happened.
Well,
And
you live in London. I mean, for me,
I
I
do.
couldn't vote in the London mayoral election because I don't live in London, but I did get to vote for a local police and crime commissioner
Which
who
is
I
basically
believe
the
is
same
someone
thing.
who commissions crimes. So I was well up for that. I voted for the one that had the most time in prison. I thought he'd obviously be experienced at committing crimes, but realised the error of my ways afterwards because experienced at committing crimes, but also quite inept because he gets caught all the time.
Well, I suppose that commissions the police, so they have stuff to do as well. It keeps
Oh, there
the
we go.
system balanced
It's
out.
a balance. I
Yes.
didn't think of it like that. It's clever.
But so I voted in the mayoral election yesterday, and it was sort of confusing because we got a first choice and a second choice, and also we had to elect the London Assembly, and I'm still not clear on what the London Assembly do.
Is that like a school assembly?
I assume so.
That's where everyone sits cross-legged and...
Oh no, actually, yes, it is, because they all sit around and the mayor comes and says stuff. So if the mayor is like the teacher, then
the London
it's
Assembly, you're
basically-
basically electing school children.
yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So did you vote for Class 4B at Compton Primary?
Yes, I did. Yeah, it was confusing because you vote, there's all sorts of constituency stuff and London-wide and blah, blah, blah. So what I'm proposing this week for Would You Fund It is a slightly more straightforward way of choosing the next mayor of London.
Ooh.
Hello, Richard O'Brien here, your genial guide to the Crystal Mayors. 12 politicians have gathered here in order that they might pit their wits and skills against the many fiendish and devious games which might lie in wait for them in the 4 travel card zones within the maze. This week we have Zach, a politician and journalist from London, Sadiq, a politician and solicitor, also from London, Caroline, she's from Southampton, she's the leader of the Liberal Democrats in the London Assembly, and Sian, she's a politician and member of the Green Party, and she's from Cheltenham. The first game is for you, Zach. It's a physical game, and you've got to pedal that Boris bike to turn the model London Eye and release the crystal.
Ooh, phew. This saddle is terrible. Some extremist chafing happening here. That Boris, though. What a hero.
Sadiq, in this mental game, you need to match up the London landmarks with the vegetables they most look like.
Well, there's the gherkin, the onion. Oh, if we hollowed out this pumpkin, I'm sure we could turn it into some kind of low-cost housing for all of London.
For this skills-based game, Caroline will have to feed these cold McDonald's chips to a giant mechanical pigeon until it poops out a crystal.
Let's hope this pigeon isn't too congested, like our roads.
You'll never get elected with jokes like that.
You'll never get elected.
Oh, burn. Oh, hey, I could build a policy about firehouses for all of London.
Sean, you must steal the next crystal from the vault of a Hatton Garden jewellers with only OAPs to help you.
Are you serious? That's got to be impossible.
You may have a filing cabinet or two to deal with.
A filing cabinet? I'll be trying to achieve the impossible with a bunch of geriatrics in a part of London that nobody's actually sure exists. It'll be like...
Trying to run for election as London mayor?
You stay out of this, Mumsy. For this mental challenge, Peter will have to plot a route between Hammersmith and Elephant and Castle using every tube line, including the overground. But beware, you can only use each line once.
Can I go via Mornington Crescent?
And with that question, you have earned yourself an automatic lock-in.
Oh.
Well, time is running out for our contestants on the Crystal Mares, but who will win? Well, by the time we air the episode, we'll probably know who collected the most golden ballots in the Crystal polling station. See you next time. Goodbye.
The Crystal Mayors.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Wow.
As Lassie Nessie said in the chat room, I mean, how could anyone not fund anything to do with the Crystal Maze?
I
entirely agree.
Yeah, I do love the Crystal Maze.
It is wonderful, and would make the whole system so much more straightforward.
Well,
So-
I mean, it would be a great way of being able to tell how they would cope with various challenges, right? And policy documents and that little leaflet that they sent round to everyone with what people stood for and that kind of thing. That's not as intuitive as, say, having to try and get a crystal from across a shark-infested pool or something.
A shark-infested Thames.
A shark-infested Thames, yeah. Indeed. So how can people vote?
If you would like to fund this wonderful idea, you can head to our website, gkly.co/fund it, and vote whether or not you would get behind the Crystal Mayors.
I mean, I'm in personally. I would fund this.
Oh yeah.
I think tax money should fund this. I think this is probably a better use of tax money than a duck pond, or a house for a duck pond, a duck house, boat house for a duck pond. I can't remember what it was. Something about it. Insert generic MP expenses joke here.
Okay, we'll fix that one in the edit, shall we? We'll come up with something.
Yeah, if only it wasn't a live show.
Yeah. So. Do get the votes in.
That's all I have on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do get your votes in. We'll be checking back later in the show as to whether or not you would fund the Crystal Mayors, but early indications are looking generally positive.
Excellent. So yeah, look forward to seeing those votes coming in. We've also got there's been a lot more news than just the London mayor race in the elections.
Indeed. As much as Londoners would like to think they are the centre of the universe,
they're really not.
More has happened.
Yes. There is a whole world outside of London. A whole world
Beyond
outside of
Zone
London.
9.
Yes, beyond Zone 9.
Well, the whole world minus London.
Yes.
Well, yes, that's true.
There's quite a lot of world outside London, really. Sorry, Londoners that are listening. I know outside the M25 is a bit of a grey area for you, but it exists. I believe people have been voting for mayors in various other UK towns and cities. People have been voting for local police and crime commissioners, but also around the world, there have been election things happening. So America, hi American listeners, how's it going?
I think we know very well how it's going.
Has it been a good week? Have there been any terrifying news stories coming out of where you are? Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I read a headline earlier in the week that said, Trump's American hell is coming to life.
Wow.
Not dramatic at all.
That's a wonderful headline.
And, I think it's really easy to knock Donald Trump. But I
Really,
think that
really
doesn't mean that
easy.
we shouldn't.
That's true. We will happily sink to that level.
Yeah, and for reference, you can check back to the Trump song that we played last series that got us quite a few comments and
Indeed.
possibly on a do not enter the US list once President Trump is in power.
It's up on our Mixcloud page.
It is indeed.
But
But we've
yeah.
got. Sorry, go on.
Well, I was just going to talk about how it's been a terrifying week in the US because so the two nominees for the Republican presidential candidate, well, the leading nominees were Trump and Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
And Ted Cruz dropped out earlier this week. And then John Kasich, or Kasich, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right,
Kasich.
wasn't, going to beat Trump, but the other day just decided
To
he'd
give
had
up.
enough and
Yeah.
give up. And
Oh, well.
Catherine, I notice, has just shared a headline that I can't read out on air, but it's in the chat room about Cruz and Trump.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, if you're not in the chat room,
but there were
I
lots
You're
would
of
missing
recommend
out.
it.
lots
I
of
would
bad
recommend
headlines
getting into
anyway. But we also there's also lots of positive stuff going on in the world, and Eurovision is coming up. We've got some great stuff to talk about our very own Eurovision special show. But first, why don't we hear from the people that are going to be representing? Well, we can hear from the people that are going to be representing many countries at the Eurovision over the course of the show and the next few shows. But given as our studio is based here in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland,
Did you forget where we were for a second?
I did.
Uh-huh.
I did actually forget where we were. I was like,
Wow.
"Good, we're based here in France." No, we're not. We're not in Ireland.
We're based here in international waters.
Yeah. It's our pirate radio station here, floating in the middle of the Atlantic.
Yes, operated literally by pirates.
I don't get it.
R.
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 These are farming pirates.
Yes.
Turn loose the longboats and release
Yes.
my tractor.
There are lies, damned lies, and the Geekly Chronicles.
Wow. So what do you reckon? We're going to win this?
Probably
No.
not. Probably not.
Well, that's some encouragement there. I mean,
I don't think that's a reflection on the song. Just
Yeah,
We're
just
just
that we never win.
not going to win.
just the political status of Eurovision Song Contest. I love Eurovision. Not going to lie. Just being quite honest and open about it, I think Eurovision is awesome, and I realise I'm a complete nerd by saying that.
I have very
Well-
penduluming sort of emotions towards Eurovision. Some years I just
Yeah.
think, oh, what? And then other years I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
love this.
So, like last
So
year,
it just depends.
when our entry was dreadful last year,
Who was our entry last year?
our entry was your first nomination for our bad song of the week in
oh,
series
that's
2.
right.
It was
that's
Electro
right.
Velvet, Still in Love with You.
Yeah, so my opinion on our entries definitely
Yes.
differs and is often negative, but I love the idea of Eurovision, and I just it's such a wacky thing. It's almost like it's an idea that probably wouldn't even work now because people would just
Probably
think
not.
it was tacky and they'd be all apathetic and wouldn't bother.
But because it has existed being so tacky.
Yeah, but this
For so
idea
long.
is just like, hey, let's have a group of countries come together and compete for the best song. It's like that
Yes.
episode of Rick and Morty. Show me what you got. You know, it's it's great.
Don't give them ideas. That
No.
will be the future of Eurovision.
Yeah. I just think it's fantastic. I got really excited about Eurovision when I was about trying to think. Probably when I was about 11 or 12. I was quite sad, and I hosted a Eurovision party for my family. And I made a poster and food and all this stuff, and I was really excited about it. And then I got a bit apathetic, mostly because I listened to what Terry Wogan was saying, and he didn't like it very much.
That's true.
I
Definitely when
think-
they changed from Wogan to Norton, the commentary got a lot more... I mean, it still, took the mick out of everyone else, but it got a lot more upbeat.
Yeah, I mean, I just find there's something really cool about the idea of Eurovision. And so it's Eurovision next weekend, and we have a special Eurovision show, Eurovision special. So normally we're off for 2 weeks, and this time around we are back not next Friday, but next Saturday.
Ooh.
And during the actual Eurovision, so during the time the Eurovision Song Contest is broadcast on television, live, across the world, we will be doing the alternative Eurovision commentary
Yeah.
by the Geekly Chronicles. We'll be joined by Elena Vision, who is our very
As you can
special
tell from
guest.
the name,
Yes.
Eurovision expert.
Yeah, she was on the show last series talking about why Eurovision is cool, and we liked her and what she had to say so much. We've invited her back.
We have.
So next Saturday, we'll be doing our live Eurovision special with Elaine, and I'm excited.
I
I'm
am too. I
excited.
mean, I've never been to a Eurovision party. This is going to be the
Mm.
closest I've ever got to that.
Not only a Eurovision party, but we get to be Eurovision commentators.
We do.
How exciting.
Take that, Norton.
So if you don't want to listen to Graham Norton or whoever is the Eurovision commentator in your country, tune in to us
Yeah.
next Saturday.
We'll no doubt be taking the mick and much less intelligible. Although we will have Elaine, so
Yes,
you know,
well,
she's
so
going to make
Elaine,
up
who is
for all
the
of our...
fountain of all knowledge when it comes to Eurovision and is also lovely, will definitely make up for any of our jokes with
we hope.
actual Eurovision facts.
Actual knowledge, enthusiasm, and passion.
Well, and as we all know, knowledge is porridge.
Yes.
So, now I want porridge. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I wish this crumble would hurry up and arrive.
Indeed.
Crumble.
But thinking of food, there was some interesting food-related news.
I was wondering how you were
This
going to
week.
segue that one.
KFC-related food news.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
Wow.
I think we're all of
KFC
it.
nail polish. I
know.
want it. I'm not going to lie.
KFC nail polish.
US fast food chain Kentucky Fried Chicken has taken its motto of finger licking good to the extreme by debuting edible nail polishes in Hong Kong this week.
I see what they did there. Finger licking
Fried
good.
chicken flavoured polish is fun, in fun, fashionable shades, even.
So wait, hang on a second. What? Because you don't eat normal nail polish.
No, you really
true.
don't.
So is this edible?
I
I don't
assume
know.
so.
I assume it's like
it
that
is.
stuff that you put on your nails when you're trying to stop biting them that tastes kind of horrible.
Oh, yeah.
You
So I
don't
was-
actually like eat it. It's just sort of flavoured.
Well, I'm just reading it here on the screen.
I don't know.
It is actually a suspension of spices in an edible lacquer.
Oh, wow.
So you can eat the nail polish.
That's excellent.
So you can get original recipe nail polish and fiery chicken nail polish. I think is that the other one.
Hot and spicy is,
Yeah,
is
that's
what
it.
they're calling it. But
Just
11 herbs and spices on your nails.
it's incredible.
It is. It really is. I was like, has nail polish technology gone too far?
Would you wear it?
Well,
Actually, I mean, looking at the sort of the promo picture, it looks like, yeah, I would. But then looking at this article I've got here on BBC News, when they actually get the bottles out and take a picture of them in real life and put it on their fingers, it looks kind of disgusting.
yeah, the colours
Does a
don't look
little.
right.
I mean, it looks like the hot and spicy is this lovely sort of,
of bright
bold
red.
red. But then when they actually look at the bottles, it seems to be a sort of a burnt orange shade, similar to Tabasco. Sort of,
Dangerously close.
It just looks like how your nails go if you're a smoker.
yeah,
It looks
that's
like
what it
that.
looks like.
Yeah.
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 And
Which is
the
definitely not a good look.
No.
and the original recipe, which looks like a sort of nude in the promo picture, which is sort of a colour I would probably wear on my nails if I didn't really want to draw attention to them, but wanted to have some polish on. But then when they try it out, it's how do they describe it?
It
A
looks almost
dirty
green.
olive green colour
Yeah.
with black specks.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
Okay, but apparently they tasted
I mean-
okay.
Well, that's the main thing, I guess.
I'm reading. I'm reading here.
I wonder if they smell as well.
Ooh, that'd
Because
be
I
interesting
mean,
to find
it
out.
might be all right for 5 minutes, but going around all day with chickeny
Yeah.
fingers
Well,
might make me feel a bit sick.
Crystal Sue, who was interviewed about this on the street in China, said, "I don't think that eating nail polish is a good idea. I don't think it's elegant behaviour for people to lick their fingers." So
It does, of course,
I do
depend
all
on
the
the
time.
company you keep. Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
Because for me, I mean, that would be positively elegant, wouldn't it?
Lily Wong from Hong Kong
Fingers
said
in
she'd
your
like
mouth.
to try it. It's an innovative idea, she said. I have never heard of anything like this before. It'll be fun to paint nails with my friends. Well, in fairness, if I'm sat around painting my nails, I do also like to have a bucket of KFC next to me. So,
2 birds.
two birds. Two birds right there.
It's
Some people on a diet may use it, said another person that was interviewed, who believes that nail polish may help quell cravings for fried chicken.
This reminds me of our finger, tongue, finger, would you rather
Yes.
from last series.
Oh, yeah.
if you could taste things without actually having to eat them, that could be good for a diet.
But apparently that person's boyfriend thought it was unhygienic.
It probably is, yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah. I mean, all the dirt that you get on your fingers, you put
true.
that nail polish on and then you get a layer of like London Underground black soot all over it.
Oh.
Yay.
Oh, dearie me.
That's, well.
I suppose, you could
now I'm
wash
not
your
hungry.
hands before a lick session.
Yeah. This is true.
Oh, Catherine.
Let's extract that as a soundbite, shall we?
I am always going to wash my hands before KFC now.
Yes.
Thanks to that.
I'm just the idea of someone who has, their KFC bucket, but they're wearing this nail polish before they begin, and then it just kind of never ends because they finish the chicken, but then they lick their fingers after a satisfying bucket experience, and continue to lick and lick ad infinitum.
I wonder if you would tell the difference if you were just eating chicken and licking your fingers, or you had the nail polish on.
Yeah, I wonder if it'd taste different.
We need a sort of control test.
After you finish the bucket and lick the actual chicken off your fingers, it would start to taste slightly different, or whether it's a close enough match.
Do we have too many thoughts?
Well, now I'm hungry.
Yeah.
So again, I'm thinking of the wonderful crumble that we're being made at some point.
I feel slightly sick.
You feel sick?
Yeah, I don't know. This is kind of grossing me out a little bit.
Oh, maybe
Originally, I thought it was a good idea, but now we've talked about it a lot. I'm starting
Now
to
it's
feel
just
a bit
weird.
It's the Geekly Chronicles. It looks like you're listening to a podcast. Would you like some help with that?
Well, there are some speaking of the election news that we had.
And voting generally.
But there's some really disappointing voting-related news.
Yes. Turns out, in some elections, you can vote and vote and vote, and it just doesn't count.
So the overwhelming majority of people voted for the next research ship from the Royal something.
From the National Environment Research Council.
That's the one. To be called Boaty McBoatface.
Reading Catherine's screen, you see.
Okay. So, of course, with the overwhelming majority of people wanting to name it Boaty McBoatface, the boat is now going to be called
David Attenborough. The RRS Sir David Attenborough, despite all of those votes.
Yeah, that's fun, isn't it?
I mean, it's not all bad news. Apparently, there's going to be some kind of little automated vessel-y...
underwatery exploration thing.
Yeah, called Boaty McBoatface. But, it's not the ship, is it?
It's just...
I suppose, the little underwater automated exploring thing is kind of cool.
It is cool.
This is true.
But I would have at least liked it as a subtitle on the main ship,
Yeah.
Sir David Attenborough, Boaty McBoatface.
Although I did see there is now a petition to get Sir David Attenborough to change his name to Boaty McBoatface so that they have to...
But then they'd have to call it the RSS Sir Boaty McBoatface.
I think that's better, personally. I think that's an improvement.
That's top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just...
So, if
fantastic.
you're listening, Sir Attenborough.
I'd say Sir Attenborough is turning 90.
Wow.
90.
Yeah.
And that's a great fitting celebration.
It is. Had
Yeah,
we
it
not
is.
been offered...
A silly name.
Had we not been offered Boaty McBoatface, I wouldn't
or
be
the opportunity to
disappointed.
vote.
Yeah, then I would have loved the name David Attenborough.
But as it is,
Yeah.
we wanted Boaty McBoatface.
It's true, but we honour both Sir David Attenborough and Sir Boaty McBoatface.
And the soulless minions of orthodoxy.
Yes, of course.
Whatever.
So yeah, I mean, it's just it was just big news. Boaty McBoatface had a nation fall in love with it,
It did.
and
I
it
mean-
will always be Boaty McBoatface in my heart.
And I'm just renaming everything something face.
Yes.
Ever since I heard the news.
Yes. It's Shamey McShameface, the Minister for Disappointing People, that made the decision to go Sir David Attenborough in the end.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So it wasn't Attenborough's fault. It wasn't.
This is true.
It wasn't Boaty's fault. Boaty's innocent in all of this.
Yes.
Poor Boaty.
Poor Boaty.
We shall pour one out for one's Boaty very shortly, but
Not all over the studio.
not all over the
No.
studio equipment. New studio. Let's
We've just
not
moved
kill it.
in. Let's.
Yeah.
Are you ready for a scroll in the hay? More random happenings from across the internet. It's the Tumble Fumble.
It's that time again, Catherine.
Hell yeah. So this week I've gone all kind of politics and dogs.
Politics and dogs.
Politics and dogs.
Excellent combination, I have to say.
I wouldn't put them both on a sandwich together.
Wouldn't put either of them in a sandwich
to
ever.
be honest.
Hot dog?
It's not really a dog, though.
No.
Carry on.
Okay. And is a hot dog a sandwich?
Now, I'll just sit over here with my terrible jokes. You actually do the thing.
Oh. Right. Okay, so starting off with a smash up of the two, or a mash up, or a splurge. Hashtag dogs at polling stations. It seems to come up every time there's voting and social media. Yeah, just check it out on Twitter, really. It's pictures of dogs at polling stations. It's exactly what it says it is. And it's just kind of nice. Everyone posting pictures of their dogs when they go to the polling station. I think it's cool.
Yeah. It is quite nice.
Yeah.
It's really adorable.
I think it's, I don't
There's
know
some
whether
really
it's...
cute ones in here.
I know. And you got to think, I don't know, it almost encourages people to go and take part, take their dog,
Yeah.
little walk. It's more environmental than getting the car out and
This is true.
driving up to the polling station. I took a walk. It's been so gloriously sunny.
It has.
I didn't see a dog. Nobody had their dog at the polling station there when I went.
No,
was a
nobody
bit
had
sad.
a dog at
So-
mine.
So I couldn't contribute to hashtag dogs at polling station.
But yes, there are lots on this list. There are some very adorable ones.
Oh.
There's
Okay,
one-
now I'm just totally distracted by
there's
pictures
one
of cute dogs.
Please continue with the fumble. The dogs will still be there.
Okay, fine. Okay, next is just politics. Well, it's not just politics. It's amazingness. I discovered this morning in bed and was actually chortling away to my pillow. This is Corbyn Karaoke, which is on
What?
Twitter, and it is at Corbyn_karaoke. It seems
wow.
Jeremy Corbyn is often photographed speaking into a microphone.
Yes.
And if you just adjust that in your brain and think, well, he's not giving a speech, he's actually doing karaoke, funny things happen.
Yes. Yes, they do.
So this is endless pictures of
Yeah.
Jeremy Corbyn
With some song
lyrics. And they are
Brilliant.
amazing.
There's one at the right at the top of him doing Bittersweet Symphony, which
Obviously a classic from The Verve, and
Yes.
him walking down the street is reminiscent of the music video.
Yes.
Very iconic. Just need a few people for him to sort of shoulder out of the way as he walks along.
Yes. Wow. These are amazing.
Yeah, I just and then some obviously older pictures, looking wonderfully sort of 70s with the Bee Gees "Staying Alive" lyrics.
Nice. I found one with "I will survive." In particular, the lyrics that begin "Go on now, go," etc.
Ah, yeah. That
Which,
would work quite well.
It does, especially because whoever runs this account has added hashtag resign Cameron to the same tweet.
Excellent. Yeah, that's a good one.
They're quite clever. I mean, it's a picture of him, "Wake up, Maggie. I think I've got something to say to you."
Oh wow! Wow. And there's some that are Spice Girls, but
Well,
this is excellent.
what do you want? What do you really, really want?
Oh, I love this.
All right, so what else have we
really,
got?
really, really
Okay,
like the
sorry, I'm
majority.
now totally
Yeah.
distracted by
Hearing the
Corbyn
sound of your
karaoke
scroll wheel
again.
and that's
Yeah.
it.
Well, this is a scroll in the hay, so. And then it's just dogs for you next. A classic
You
I've
say
been
that like
following
it's a
for.
bad thing.
No, God. Well, this certainly isn't a bad thing. I normally wouldn't say I'm a massive dog person, but I
You don't
I
look like a
cannot.
massive dog
no, I
person.
know. I can't resist a picture of a pug. They're just so adorable. And this is a Twitter account I've been following for ages, and I can't believe I've never mentioned it on the Fumble before. Emergency Pugs, which is at Emergency Pugs.
Pugs driving
on,
ambulances and stuff.
You'd think, but no, it's just sort of pugs to apply to your everyday
Yeah.
situation.
I guess if
to
you're
brighten your day.
if you're having some kind of emergency that can be solved by pictures of pugs, then this should be the fourth emergency service.
It really should.
Like you ring whatever the emergency number is in your country, and they're like, fire, police, ambulance. No, I need pugs.
Deliver me a pug. Deliver me 10 pugs to my house immediately. I'll have them for 3 hours and
Yes.
they will They will be happy and playful, and then they will go away, and I'll be cured.
Just imagining like a fire engine full of pugs, like being driven by pugs and otherwise
With
full
a sort of
speeding
a
along.
tank full of pugs
Yes, that they can.
that can be hosed. That you know?
Yes.
No, that sounds cruel.
No,
that sounds
yeah.
bad. Let's not do that.
Maybe that's why pugs have the face they have, because they were originally other dogs that came through a fire.
No, just no.
No.
Stop
No,
let's not
we
go
need
there.
Stop
a
now.
pug. A pambulance, a pubulance.
Pugulence.
Yeah, I could get behind the pugulance.
Nice. So emergency
You'd be a
bugs.
pugulance chaser.
Emergency bugs.
Oh my god.
Oh, these pugs are adorable.
They are. They really are.
Yeah, sorry. The Tumble Fumble was very visual this week, which I
Yes.
appreciate doesn't really work
But where can people
on radio.
go to look at them?
So if you follow GKLYCO on Twitter, you will find links to all the Tumble Fumble items.
Excellent.
And yeah, if you want to follow Emergency Pugs, they are at Emergency Pugs on Twitter, helpfully.
Quite cool.
And that's the Fumble.
Wow. Emergency pugs. I don't know what it is about pugs,
I
but
need
they
like a
are
little-
really cute.
I need a little pug in high vis,
Yes.
Quite a big pug. That would be
because
amazing.
that would be an emergency bug.
Yep.
Yes, it would.
Yeah, I like
Very
that.
cool.
I like that idea.
This is not a monkey wrench. This is a monkey wrench.
So tell us more, Catherine, about Free Comic Book Day.
Well, it's a day every year. It seems it's celebrating its 15th year of
Ooh.
happening.
Exciting.
I've only known about it for a couple of years, mainly through Doctor Who comics, because I sort of got big into Doctor Who and then realised there were comics and there was a free one. So I think last year's Free Comic Book Day was my first Doctor Who comic. They usually do a kind of multi-Doctor story for Free Comic Book Day, which is kind of nice. Gets fans from all angles involved.
Yeah.
So this year it's tomorrow. So I think there is a whole load of different shops getting involved. If you want to find out, which shops, if there's one near you, you can go to freecomicbookday.com.
Oh, there's a website.
There is a website. Yep. So there's lots of pictures of friendly people holding up comics and details of all the different comics that you can get for free. So there is a Doctor Who comic, as I mentioned, but there's also a whole load more. I'm just trying to count how many there are.
A lot.
Free
yeah,
comic.
Loads, more than I can count quickly and tell you. I mean, there are some
Big list.
sort of fandoms here that I didn't even realise you could get comic books for, like Bob's Burgers.
Yes, I
which
didn't realise
I
that.
love
Oh, wow,
the
I
TV
love-
show. I
yeah.
hadn't realised there was a comic too.
That's cool.
There's kind of Serenity comic if you're a fan of Firefly. So yeah, all sorts of things that
Yeah.
I could potentially be interested in here.
Nice.
That's brilliant.
So if
There
you'd
are-
like to discover comic books, it's sort of a good time to go and sample one for free.
Well, this is a global thing as well. I mean, I'm looking on their website. There are like 200 cities, even and towns, even just in the UK. But there are like every country is listed here. It's amazing. There are shops all over the world that will let you take part in Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah, I think it's sort of really fun, and there's sort of comic books for everything. I mean, I'm looking and there's a Grumpy Cat comic.
Oh wow.
That's amazing.
How cute is
Wow.
that?
And there are loads. There are loads around this area as well. It's fantastic. I might have to go and get a free comic book tomorrow. So what?
Definitely.
I mean, I found it quite difficult to get into comic books at first. But have you always been into them?
No, definitely not. It was kind of Doctor Who that brought me there. And even now, I don't read loads, but I think I just really like the artwork and how different artists interpret different characters in different ways. Just the Doctor Who comics, there's lots of different artists, and you can kind of tell who's illustrating what, and they all give the Doctors slightly different looks, and yeah, it sort of helps create the characters. I think it's really
And in the
Really
Doctor
cool.
Who ones, are they all canon? So are they all part of the official Doctor Who story?
I think to some degree. I mean, they're all licensed and official, and
Right.
yeah, so I suppose it must be.
That's pretty exciting.
It is.
It's always nice to know that if you watch something on TV, there are lots of different ways in which you can enjoy the story as well, which is awesome.
Yeah, because these things aren't always on. If you watch anything on TV or you enjoy films, there's always that gap in between one thing and the next thing, and it's nice to be able to find other mediums that you can get into, and not every medium's for everyone, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I just love the audio adventures for Doctor Who are great as well. So there's obviously the TV show, the audio adventures, there's the comic books. But there are comic books for everything, and it's amazing. I personally want to see what Grumpy Cat gets up to.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by that one. I want to add that one to my list for tomorrow.
Go out hunting for free comic books tomorrow and come back with the Grumpy Cat comic. That'd be amazing. But we are talking after the next song to a comic book artist.
We are. Yeah, I mean, I've met Lee Sullivan going to kind of comic book conventions. So he often is there as an artist, and you can commission him to draw you something, which is kind of how I've met Lee. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And he's an artist. Does he do the stories as well, or?
No, it seems to be that one person writes it, another person illustrates it.
That's brilliant. That's very cool.
We're like One Direction, only we don't make you want to cut your ears off with a rusty spoon.
How very true. So,
Yes.
I haven't heard that song for a long time. What a great song.
It is a great song. Thank you very much for the request.
I think that's one of the songs that I tend to play in my car.
Yeah, I remember when that song came out back in the day.
Yeah.
It was
I remember you mentioning, possibly on a previous show, one of you, I can't remember who, it was the first song you downloaded.
Oh, so it wasn't the
MP3.
first song I downloaded, but it was the first MP3 I
Yes.
ever owned. I don't think I
That's the one.
downloaded it so much as I think it was someone I knew had someone that I knew had a CD of it, and we ripped it to an MP3. So that was
CD
quite good.
ripping.
Yeah,
Those are the days.
back when this was before iTunes. It was
Yes.
before the kind of the places where you could buy digital music. So yeah,
I miss CD ripping.
do you?
Yeah, it was always better.
But
I mean,
it was time consuming.
Yeah, the stores are good enough now, but it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, I
Nice.
thought that digital music, like buying digital music, wouldn't catch on. But hey,
Apparently,
what do I know? But from things that you could, things that you can download that you haven't been able to download before, back to traditional paper and pens and things.
That may
My
be
segue there.
maybe one of your most clumsy ones yet, I have to say.
Yes,
But,
I fell towards that one. We were talking about Free Comic Day just before that song, and now we should have our guest on the phone. If I bring up the right fader here. Hello.
Hello there, how are you?
Oh, very good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm okay, thanks.
Thank you very much for joining us, Lee. It's Catherine here, and we are also joined by...
I'm Kez.
I'm Chris. Hello.
Hello,
Yeah,
hello everyone.
yeah. Thank you again for joining us. Yeah, so I suppose I'd like to know a little bit more about how you got into illustrating comic books.
Well, I guess I'd always drawn from about the age of, since I could grab a pencil, really. I started drawing on floors and walls and annuals. Actually, I've got a lot of annuals from Rupert Bear things like that. with
I have Rupert Bear
pictures of-
annuals. I love Rupert Bear.
with pictures of spaceships and that kind of stuff on. So
Nice.
I was just sort of compelled to draw from an early age, and I started. My mum and dad were they're very indulgent parents, and they bought me loads of comic books, British comics, things like TV Comic and TV 21 and Countdown, all those kind of things that were all kind of based around TV, because TV was the new big thing in the 1950s and 60s, and I was very into things like Fireball XL5 and all Jerry Anderson stuff, and Doctor Who, which became quite a big thing for me. And there were comic strips almost straight away, and I kind of started drawing comic strips for my own amusement, and then eventually it turned into, if you kind of cut to 3 decades later, it turned into what I did for a living.
Wow. So obviously, I know you've done Doctor Who, because that's really, I suppose, how I got introduced to you. But I mean, what other franchises have you drawn comic strips and art for?
It's funny because when franchises is a great word for it, and it's exactly right, but it was kind of a bit of a dirty word when I was starting. people kind of get it now, but I think we were all looked down on by a lot of the industry professionals when we started getting into that stuff. The first thing I did was Transformers. Which was at the height of its popularity in about 1988, something like that, 89. That's when I started drawing comic strips, and I couldn't figure them out at all. I still don't really quite understand them, but I'm not sure why they are in disguise. But and also I just couldn't get a handle on the fact that they changed size as well. So you had someone
That's
like
a very good point.
Megatron, who would turn into a small Walther P38 pistol,
Yes.
Or a 60-foot robot or 30-foot, whatever.
The physics of that universe is just all wrong.
I could never quite understand. It was either an extremely heavy pistol or a very lightweight robot. I couldn't figure that out.
I think there's something dimensionally transcendental
I
going
worked on Transformers, and that was a great starting point. I went straight away. Well, actually, I did pausing to do 3 pictures for Thundercats, which has marked me as a Thundercats artist forevermore. I did 3 covers for the Thundercats series. Then I went straight into Doctor Who, and that was a franchise I really wanted to be part of, and luckily it's kind of bounced around ever since. But after that, I did RoboCop. Then another franchise was for William Shatner. He had a series of novels and a TV series and the comic, and I did the comic, which was cool because he rang me up a couple of times.
Excellent.
So there were those
so
things.
cool.
But also, things like Judge Dredd, I mean, that's just as much a franchise. They're all, unless you've actually made it up yourself. And I'm currently working on Rivers of London, which is, again, a franchise. That's Ben Aronovich's franchise, and I'm hanging onto his coattails with the kind of grip of a crazed zombie.
Yeah, so I've seen obviously Rivers of London coming up on your Twitter and Facebook and things, but it's not something I know much about. What is Rivers of London about?
Well, I'm terribly pleased to have the opportunity to tell you. It's basically a series of novels that Ben Aronovich, who was a Doctor Who writer back in Sylvester McCoy's time, and he's authored these, I think there are 5 novels out now, a 6th one is coming out. They are fantasy, police, procedural, supernatural thrillers. So they're grounded very heavily in reality, except when people start talking to dead people. And there is the protagonist is a young UK cop who is just happens to be able to summon magical powers, and he's put into training by the only other wizard in the Metropolitan Police.
The only other wizard in the Metropolitan Police.
It's much grimmer than it sounds, and it's much funnier as well.
No, I think it sounds brilliant.
Yeah.
I'll have to check this out. So what's the first
I
Rivers of
hope I've
London
sold
book
that well
called?
to you. And the comics are basically, they run alongside the books. Ben is also writing the comics along with Andrew Cartmel, who's also Doctor Who script editor from back in the day, a big pal of Ben's. And they have created the comic book series, which fits in between some of the novels. And the one we're doing, the second story, which we're working on now, is a prequel to the next novel, which is coming out. So they're actually locked into continuity and canon. So although people may disagree with the way I draw them, possibly, they are actually part of the series. So we're all very pleased with that.
Yeah,
I do like it when all the
great.
I do like it when all the different things like the comic books and novels and all different kind of formats for a particular franchise all fit together in canon, which is the thing I enjoy.
It's very satisfying.
It's quite rare for it to happen, really, because all the other things I've worked on have been, they're kind of alternate universe stories, really, I suppose. Things like, if you pick up a Doctor Who comic or Star Trek or whatever, they can't affect the TV program or the film series at all. They're not considered to be canon, even though they can be as accurate and dovetail into the series as possible and feed off the series. They can't go back into the series. That's just generally doesn't happen. So it's rather nice to be working on something which is properly locked in.
Okay. I was very sort of unsure about how it worked with Doctor Who. I mean, it seems like everything in Doctor Who is sort of a little bit of a kind of a fudge.
Yeah.
To sort of crowbar something in here.
It's got to be the advantage of a universe like Doctor Who, where you can things like Time Order are a bit more wibbly wobbly, I suppose, to borrow a phrase. So it's got to be much easier for that. But I'm such a huge fan of continuity. I think any story, no matter how ridiculous, any story can be believable if continuity is used well. So I'm pleased to hear that. Pleased to hear that things can work out well in that respect.
Well, I know I worked on a Doctor Who story a long time ago. Actually, 2 Dalek stories, which featured Absalom Dark, who was a big hit with some of the comics readers. And the second one was a continuity fest. It was a way of trying to tie all the previous contradictory Davros stories together with the Daleks, and from things from John Pertwee's time, and it was set in the Dalek city back in Skaro from the first story, and there were tons of stuff was tried to shoveled in there. I don't know how Paul managed it, but it was just every page was another continuity thing cleared up.
It must be hard when there's so many
incidentally, as a strange coincidence, the first story of Absalom Dark that I did, a picture from that appeared in Time Heist, which was Peter Capaldi's first series. And it flashes up for a second on the screen, and that's the only time that's ever happened in Doctor Who that the comic strip has gone back into the series. Wow. And it just happens to be my picture. It was a character created by Steve Dillon, actually, and it was he should have had the credits for that, but I was the only person who drew him straight on, so he looked like he was in a mugshot, which is why it was used.
I must ask, did you know they were going to do that before they did it, or did you just see it on TV like, that's mine?
Well, I didn't even see it on TV, but I got into a hailstorm of Facebook and Twitter stuff saying Absalom Dark is on next week's Doctor Who, because it was in the next week slot as well. And then it said, your Absalom Dark is on next week. And I was back from a music gig quite late, and I had to kind of sit down and watch the episode to try and figure out what they were talking about. And no, I didn't know anything about it. I've never had any contact with them, so I have no idea why that got there, but I guess it's just one of those lovely in-jokes.
Wow, I need to go back and rewatch that now.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, it lasts almost a second. Blink and you miss it.
Well, for screen time, though, that's quite impressive.
This is true.
It's longer than I've been on Doctor Who.
It's a 30-year career condensed into less than a second. Yes. It's quite remarkable. But yeah, a guy plugs. There's a guy who has a computer interface in his skull, and he plugs himself into a screen, and these images, some of which are kind of jokey images of old Doctor Who enemies, just pop up, and that's one of them. And it's just a drawing. It's not. They don't even try to make it look like it's not a drawing. So it's very pleasing, but also rather bonkers.
Yes,
I think I remember the moment. I'm going go back and check it out.
Yeah.
So you've never spoken to the Doctor Who people, but you said you've spoken to William Shatner on the phone. I can't let that pass without asking how was that? How is a phone conversation with William Shatner?
Well, it's oh God, you've really opened up a can of worms. People who know the story know that it goes on for hours, but I'll do a condensed version. I was working on Tech World, which was his baby, and it was about virtual reality, a drug, a virtual reality kind of. Well, I suppose it was a mechanical device that you got addicted to, basically, and the private detective who's framed and all the rest of it, a character called Jake Cardigan, a name that only William Shatner could arrive at. I'm a huge Star Trek and Captain Kirk in particular fan, so I was very thrilled to be working on it, and I knew he was looking at the stuff and vetting it, and I thought, well, I used to retire to bed at the end of the working day and sort of giggle internally, obviously, because it'd be a bit worrying for my wife otherwise, about the fact that he was kind of looking at this stuff. And then I went out to the shops one day, and I came back, having bought some fine groceries, to find a message on my answer machine, and I played it, and it said, "Lee, this is William Shatner, calling you from New York. I'd like to talk to you about some changes I'd like you to do for the comic book. I love your work. I'll get back to you. I'm leaving here now. I'll get back to you soon."
I hope you saved that message.
It's out there somewhere. Yeah, I've got it somewhere. I almost daren't look for it because if it wasn't there, I'd have to die. I'd have to kill myself. But it was from the time. You see, it's a long time ago. It was actual music cassette, in the answer machine. So I was able to take it out and put another one in. So I sat by my phone for about 2.5 weeks, and no phone calls came in. And finally, we needed more food, so I went to the shop. Again, I came back. Once again, there was an answer machine light blinking. "Lee, I missed you again." And so really like to talk to you. Maybe we can arrange that. So I thought, I'm not having any more of this. So I managed within, and this is a sort of desperation. I don't know how I did it, but I managed to get him on the phone in about 5 minutes. I managed to remember that his production company was called Lemley, and I managed to get that number, and I just went straight through to his secretary, who said, "Oh, right, okay, here he is." And then I spent the most peculiar 5 minutes talking to him because I couldn't think of any connected words that I could use in a sentence. So it's and I've recorded that conversation too, and it's very stilted on my side.
I think I'd have been the same. I'd have been the same.
Yeah.
"Call me Bill," he said. And so we talked, and it was great, and I, basked in it. And then he said, "So, if you're passing, it'd be great to see you. I'm directing the TV movies, so why don't you stop by and we'll sync a few."
Oh my word!
Wow.
I don't know what your reaction to that would be, but mine was to get the first available flight.
Yes, that would be mine too.
Yeah, that would be
Absolutely.
mine. Yeah.
Because I'm always passing Toronto on the way somewhere else. And
It's on my commute into London.
Aren't we all?
So I went out there and I watched him directing, and he was really nice. And I spent about 2 or 3 days, knocking around the set. We went out for dinner, and he's what Shatner's. I'm starting to sound like him now. You know what Shatner's
You've caught
thing
it.
is. And his reputation, but he was not like that at all. He was an interested, quiet, introverted kind of guy, and that was a real surprise. Except for one evening when we were sitting in the back of what was a very new thing in those days called people carriers, right? So they kind of looked vaguely futuristic and shuttlecrafty. And I was sitting in the back of the car next to him. I'd gone out there with my lovely writer friend Evan Skolnick, who was also editor at the time, and we were just kind of soaking up all the new stuff and the TV series to try and put it into the comic book. But I just turned. He was taking the mickey out of my English accent, and he was going that kind of stuff. And I was thinking, well, you can talk. But I was also just looked at him, and it's Kirk's profile. He's one of the most, literally iconic. People know what he looks like everywhere. And yet he walked 2 or 3 miles from his hotel every morning to the set, And we walked up and down the street, and he kind of nodded to people if they kind of did a double take on him. It was the most interesting experience,
Almost kind of an anti-celebrity celebrity.
Yeah, it was an interesting. Well, because I already knew, because there's all this stuff about Star Trek, and did they get on, didn't they get on? The whole industry that some of the others have kind of built up of We Hate Bill, and I kept asking people. We kept asking people on the set, all the production people and the guys working in the editing room. He took us around the whole thing, showed us into the editing suite, and they did a bit of editing while we were there. That was all digital. I couldn't believe it. It was so advanced. This is probably all before all of you were born, but they were kind of using digital editing techniques, and I'd never seen anything like it. And I would ask these people, and they would say, "Wow, we've heard stories, but he's been great with us." So interesting.
And I really like the fact that you think we're so young. So thank you. that's a real compliment.
Everybody is very young to me. I come from the past.
I think we all come from the past.
Yeah.
But we used to dodge dinosaurs on the way to school.
Well, no wonder you're so creative.
Yeah, we were fast. We were creative, but we were fast.
You and Shatner dodging dinosaurs. Now that is a comic book I would read.
Yes.
You and Shatner dodging dinosaurs. I would love that.
Well, the thing is, he'll always outlast me. So he's got. It's unbelievable. He's still. I think he's 85 now, something like that.
William Shatner's going to outlast all of us. At the end of the world, it'll just be cockroaches, Twinkies, and William Shatner.
William Shatner will
I know.
always be.
I really genuinely think he has a good chance of that happening, because he has no intention of slowing down and letting anyone like death catch up with him. He's just an extraordinary individual. He's just absolutely, he does all the stuff, and he's doing bits and pieces. I mean, you can see it tweets a million times a day. I hope he's got an assistant doing that, because I can't imagine him doing it himself. But it's, he's just full of energy and lots of projects, and he rides horses, and he's endlessly doing stuff. Can't imagine he just doesn't touch the ground. Well, great privilege to have met him.
He's going to be here in the UK in October. Is it October for the 50th anniversary
convention?
That certainly we will be at, which would be quite fun.
Oh gosh! Well, you say hello from me.
Yeah, if we get some FaceTime, I think we'll be competing with a lot of other people to try and see William Shatner with that.
Well,
we traded. It was kind of nice, because we traded Christmas cards and stuff for about 3 or 4 years afterwards, and then I think sadly that his wife at the time, she died in a drowning accident, and that was the end of. I think that was kind of like the cut-off, and so we no longer trade Christmas cards. But hey, I've got a few knocking around the house.
That's not bad at all.
It's wonderful when your work leads you to these magical sort of things to happen.
Yeah,
love that. So not to let William Shatner kind of take over the whole interview, I just want to ask you one more thing. If you could draw anything in the future, what would you want to draw? What universe would you want to be a part of?
I think that William Shatner and me dodging the dinosaurs comic sounds good.
You can have that one.
I think there's some mileage in that. The one thing that's kind of got away from me, I've been very, very lucky, and I've worked on lots of things that I wanted to do, Thunderbirds and all that kind of. I forgot to mention those earlier. Did 5 years of Thunderbirds. Kind of a sentence. And I've worked on all kinds of things. I would like to have worked on Iron Man. I was always very jealous of my contemporary Kev Hopgood, who went off to work on Iron Man while I was working on those American things. I think Kev was working on Iron Man, and he created War Machine, and
that's amazing.
I would love to have had a crack at Iron Man. That kind of suits me. That mechanical exoskeleton thing I really like. Of course, now you probably can't move for people trying to draw an Iron Man because of the movies, which I love, and I have a lovely Hot Toys Iron Man sitting on my desk looking balefully at me right now.
In really the way that only Tony Stark can.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
You're listening to the Geekly Chronicles.
And now, the licking forecast, issued by the Geekly Chronicles from behind the Queen's Head at 1900. The general synopsis this evening. Stamps, 5. Self-adhesive preferable. Batteries, 3. Tingling likely. Lollipops alternating 6 and 7. Cavities later. Envelopes, 1. Severe dry tongue warning. Post-KFC finger licking, good. Lips, 4. Whilst concentrating, 9. The bowl, 3. Cookie dough preferred. Spoon, 6. 1 inside the matrix. Toads, 12. Side effects likely. Elbow, 1. Impossible feats ahead. Wounds, 8. Chance of reconciliation later. Nose, 3. Salty aftertaste, disgusting, but good. Flagpole, 2. Frostbite likely. Mr. Whippy, 99. Extreme flake warning. And that ends the licking forecast.
It's like fourth dimensional string theory, only less comprehensive.
Now, we mentioned earlier on in the show that we were being made some crumble.
Yes.
Now, this all comes from an episode last series where one of our regular listeners, regular chat room correspondents, Jake... there were lots of H's.
Yeah.
Jake... was making crumble during Geekly and posted some pictures of it. And we are very, very lucky to be joined tonight by Jake...
Hello.
Hello, there we go. So we're lucky to be joined by Jake. And Jake, you've made us some crumble.
Yeah, using some very interesting kitchen instruments and guessing amounts.
Yes, I mean, this is a new studio and we have access to a kitchen here, but it's not really got much in it. So you came along with some ingredients and have kind of made a crumble out of not very much.
It's a very flat crumble.
A flat crumble. Well, so we've got it here. Let me pass some of these.
In a new segment we are
plates out.
calling the Crumble Fumble.
There we go. So we've got crumble here. There we go. Let me pass that over to you there, Catherine.
Thanks, Jake.
Thank you.
I'm going to try this here. Again, making for great radio,
Yes.
food-related radio.
We do so many food-based shows.
But the studio's been smelling amazing. So,
It really has.
It smells like appley wonderland in here.
so while we're eating this, right, grab that microphone and tell us what is in the crumble.
Spiders.
Thanks.
No.
Oh my God! What if they're in my mouth?
There's a lot of sugar in it.
That'd be why it tastes so good.
Yeah. Some flour, some self-raising flour, apples, and caramel as well is kind of thrown in there.
I can taste the caramel.
So it's even sweeter than a normal apple crumble. And because I was guessing the amounts, there's probably more sugar than there should be and more caramel than there should be.
Again, why it tastes so good.
Some of these bits are almost cookie-y.
It's amazing.
Oh, yeah. I like anything with apples in it.
So what's the... I mean, it's just you just throw all those things together and make it like a regular crumble? What do you do?
Sort of like the regular crumble. So you make the crumbly bit separate to the base. So I used a blender, I think, to make the base. Whereas normally you'd do it with like a whisk, but we didn't have any whisks or mixing spoons, so it's just kind of been blended. The crumble part of the crumble was made properly, though, like by hand. You kind of mix it up with your fingers, kind of rolling your fingers.
Wow, this is so good.
It really is.
So, if any other listeners out there want to bake us things, we will happily invite you along to the studio for a show where you can make. I mean, it doesn't have to be baked. It could be savoury food. Would need to be vegetarian food, but that aside, savoury food's good. That's amazing. That is the best crumble I've ever tasted. That's stunning.
We will just be playing songs for the rest of the show. So
Yeah, sorry. Game of Geeks cancelled. It's so good. That's the taste in my mouth that's still there from it. I haven't eaten any in about 3 minutes, and it's still. It's like a hug. It's like a hug of
An
caramel
appley hug.
goodness. It's. You're a genius, Jake. Thank you.
Thank you
for
very
sharing.
much.
Where did you get this recipe from? Did you just make it up?
I definitely made it myself. Did not go on a cookery course to learn how to make it, and I've not made it like several hundred times.
Well, it's amazing, and if you did go on a cookery course, then it was well worth it. That's fantastic. So thank you very much, Jake, for coming here and giving us Crumble. I think we should at least attempt a vague round of applause for the Crumble.
I can put my Crumble down.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that.
Hashtag Crumble clap.
It's time for this week's Tumble Fumble.
No, it's
No,
not.
it's not.
Now for this week's Game of Geeks.
There we go.
That's more like
Yeah.
it.
Pressed the wrong button there.
Yep.
New studio.
Who
It's fine.
puts me in charge of the buttons? So we've only been in here a couple of hours. Anyway,
Yeah.
hello.
Hello.
It's Game of Geeks.
Game of Geeks.
We're totally on form.
Yeah. So, Game of Geeks. Kez and Chris are at one game apiece, I believe.
Ooh.
So, it's level pegging as we go into episode 3.
Yeah, so, what is Game of Geeks?
Game of Geeks is a game where I give clues to Kez and Chris and they have to guess what I'm describing. So,
We've
this,
got big green buzzers in front of us as well, like
Yeah,
massive
I think
light-up
that's-
buzzer things.
that's the most
great
important
fun.
bit about the show. And this week, Kez goes.
Hashtag flip phone.
Oh, it's Boaty McBoatface.
And Chris goes.
It's actual Boaty McBoatface.
Or as I like to call him, David Attenborough.
Sir David
Sir,
Attenborough.
Sir David Attenborough face.
Attenborough
No.
No. Anyway. Yes. So I give 3 clues to a thing.
Yep.
And Kez and Chris earn points.
All right,
So,
All right.
our first thing.
all right, I'm going to
This
beat you
week.
this week, Chris, as well.
No,
Yep.
you're not. No,
Our
you're
first
Totes.
thing is a website.
You just looked at the screen.
not. I did not look at the screen.
It's okay. I've only got clues I've used already on the screen. So
Okay.
Well,
we're
there you
safe, even if Chris did.
Phew.
Okay. A website.
Okay.
This is kind of random. I have no idea if anyone's going to get this.
I have just noticed my light is still on. Is the
Right,
There we
okay.
go.
It's all good now. I've reset the buzzers. So, for 3 points, this site is the short sponsor of a Welsh football team at Cardiff City.
okay?
Good luck.
Hashtag flip phone.
Screwfix Direct.
Interesting, but no.
Okay. Just think of a likely football sponsor company. People.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
That's good.
Am I allowed to Google for it?
No. No Googling
All
during
right.
the Game
All
of
right.
Geeks.
I'm
Okay.
surprised that question has only come up now while we've started series 4 and been doing. We've done 2. Have you been Googling for the last 2
I
series?
haven't.
It's only just occurred.
Yeah.
I think it has to Google. Okay, so clue number 2 includes a name that I'm not sure I'm going to pronounce right. So
Oh.
that's really helpful.
Excellent.
This site's mascot called, I think it's Geo, I'm going to say, features in one of our jingles. Chris.
Go compare.
Yes.
Ah.
Okay, yes, cool. Go compare. For 2 points.
Yes,
Chris
the
got that
mascot's
one.
name
Clue
is,
number 2.
the mascot's name is Geo Compare.
Geo, yeah.
Compario. I
Compario.
think. Yeah.
Geo Compario.
That is the first time I have ever been happy about knowing the Go Compare advert.
Compare.
Ah,
And then the third clue is going to be the price comparison site was established in Wales in 2006.
Right.
So that will probably have given it to anyone else. Right, okay. So getting into the second item to guess tonight, it's going to be theatre.
Oh.
my light
Yeah.
is still on.
Thank you for reminding me about the buzzers. Out of practice with my buzzer reset. Right, theatre. This is an
All right,
American
then.
musical with music by John Kander and lyrics by Fred Ebb, based on a 1926 play of the same name by reporter Maureen Dallas Watkins.
I think I know this, but it's like the name has escaped my brain.
Well, I've got no idea.
Hashtag flip phone.
It's not the producers, is it?
Nope.
Okay.
Ready for clue number 2?
Go on.
Button.
Thank you. The story is a satire on corruption in the administration of criminal justice. And the
Hashtag
concept
flip phone.
cares.
You're going to carry on the question.
And the concept of the celebrity criminal.
Oh, I can see the poster for it and everything.
5,
Why is
What
the
does it
name
say on
in
it?
my head?
3, 2, 1.
No.
Sorry.
Popmaster rules apply.
Okay, yeah. Right. Clue number 3. This musical is named after the city in Illinois where the action
Hashtag
takes place.
Flip phone.
Chicago.
Yes.
Excellent.
I got a little bit confused there because I was thinking, was that Chris or Kez's buzzer noise?
That was definitely mine.
That
We
was definitely
pressed
Kez.
almost simultaneously.
On the third clue, so that's 1 point for Kez
Hey.
for guessing Chicago. Okay, next up we have a film.
Oh.
Right.
Back to films. Are you ready?
Yes. Yes. The suspense is killing me. Come on.
In this film, we see a plane crash caused by an umbrella.
Hashtag Flip phone.
Kez.
Mary Poppins.
No.
Oh, no, but I'm imagining that now.
I would watch that.
Yes.
Mary
Yeah.
Poppins, up she goes, and then suddenly, oh no!
Yeah.
Oh, that's just not good. Okay, clue number 2 for 2 points. This Steven Spielberg film was released on May 24th, 1989.
Hashtag Flip phone.
Kez.
Donnie Darko.
No.
Okay. That was
Any
a
other
plane
guesses?
crash. That was.
I can't remember the umbrella.
Yeah, that's the thing that's doing it for me. I can't. Yeah.
Okay, clue number 3 for 1 point. This film stars Sean Connery as Indiana Jones' father.
Hashtag
Oh.
Flip phone.
Kez.
Indiana Jones and the Lost Crusade.
So close.
Can I have it? Can I buzz? Can I buzz?
You have buzzed.
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Yes.
Oh, come on! Just
think
'cause
so.
you're just punishing me because I haven't seen it.
Were you getting mixed
That
up with
is-
the Lost Ark?
No, I knew
And
it
the
was the
Raiders
Crusadey
thereof.
one. Fine.
1
Once-
point for Chris.
Once again, your downfall is a single vowel.
A single vowel.
Next.
Okay,
Next.
and our last set of clues, we have a TV show.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, it is an American sitcom created by David Crane and Marta Kaufman.
Oh, come on! I was going to get that.
Chris.
Would it be Friends, Catherine?
Yes, it would.
Oh.
For 3 points.
Oh, my mother warned me there'd be days like these.
Now, for clue number 2, I was going to do Janice and Monica impressions.
Oh,
so you missed out
can
on
we
that.
have that?
I think we
Please,
need those.
Can we have
Please,
that?
we need those.
Okay, well, they weren't going to be very good impressions, but this show gave new life to the phrases, oh my God, and I know.
The I know one wasn't bad, so I don't know what you were doing with the janitor.
That does explain why you did that. I know in the sound check earlier.
Yeah, I know. I was
All
practicing.
right. Do we have any other questions, or is that it for this
No,
week?
no, that was it for this week.
Which,
So-
of course, means...
This week's winner is. Chris.
Curse you.
Yeah.
Curse you.
With 6 points to 1.
A plague on your house. A plague on all your houses.
All right.
Do you have any houses, Chris?
That's a fair point.
Not on me. I mean,
No.
I'm just.
A
Just
bit
checking.
houseless at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. Sadiq will build me a new one out of a pumpkin.
Oh,
Which,
dear.
speaking of...
Well, we'll check in with that after the next song.
Excellent.
As we've got, like, I was just thinking about Friends.
I know. Apparently, it's been 12 years since the final episode aired.
12 years.
Wow.
Today.
Not 20 years.
No. Just
12 years.
Just 12. That was a while.
It was 2004.
12 years since the last episode of Friends.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Doesn't feel like 12 years.
You are listening to the Geekly Chronicles.
Yes.
Speaking of bicycles,
Yes.
Boris bicycles.
Would you fund it?
Would you fund it?
Seems like you would.
Oh, nice work, Chris.
It has to be said. The Crystal Mayors is 100% funded, according to all you people who voted.
Oh, that's amazing.
It is.
So 100%
Thank
of
you
those
very
people
much.
wanted to fund it. Fantastic.
Thank you very
Well,
much.
So let's
No.
do it. Let's make it.
Yes.
Let's
we
push for this electoral reform. I think it's important. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Awesome.
can see the petition in the works now.
Yeah. All right. So we'll tweet out our petition to the on the Number 10 website, complete with a link to the MP3, and
Yes.
hopefully that electoral change will happen.
Hopefully.
Oh, it's been quite a week.
Yes.
We've had Crumble, that Crumble was absolutely amazing. Jake gets many thanks from us for that Crumble. It's amazing. We had a fantastic guest on the show.
We did.
Yes. I hope everyone goes and checks out our comic book tomorrow.
Yep, free comic book day. Don't forget that. It's been 12 years since the last episode of Friends. That's a little depressing. We had dogs at polling stations. We've had a bit of everything on this show, including some election fun with the Would You Fund It?
The Crystal Mares.
But we've got an amazing special episode coming up next week.
We do.
We do.
That will be on the 14th, the Saturday.
And then we've got episode 4 coming up the week after on the 20th of May.
Yeah.
Our usual Friday night slot.
Yep, so as usual, the next episode of the Geekly Chronicles in 2 weeks on Friday, but there's a special one-off live Eurovision amazingness happening next week with our special guest, Eleno Vision, as we've said before. So, wow, what a show. But
lots to come.
Extra geekly for your ear holes.
Yeah, and I need to go and eat some more Crumble now.
Yes.
So, from me, Kez.
From me, Chris.
And from me, Catherine.
Goodbye!
Goodbye!
Bye!
You've been listening to the Geekly Chronicles. Content was researched and vaguely fudged together by Chris, Catherine and Kez, who are also your hosts for this evening's show. The Geekly Chronicles is an independent production. Any reference to any persons or things living or dead was probably an error. What is reality anyway? Don't take the blue pill, live long and prosper. Wear sunscreen.